Hello, tarot adventurers. Adventurer, that is my new word for what we historically think of as the Knight card in the tarot. So I have taken the Tarot Landscapes deck, which I think is quite beautiful, and I'm remaking what I'm calling the court cards, the face card. Why? Because I am sick of the patriarchy. I am sick of capitalism. I am sick of centuries old systemic regimes that encourage us to think about human beings in this hierarchical, um, royal way: kings, queens, knights, pages, princesses, prince. No, I'm sick of it. I'm done with it. It's misogynistic, it's patriarchal bullcrap. All right. So then what do we do? So we have to think of new ways of doing it. So I culled out all of the decks in my collection that I thought smacked of patriarchy, misogyny, all this like deeply embedded stuff that I want no part of. And so now what are we going to do with that? What are we going to do with this no kings, no knights thing? So here's my sloppy handwriting. So I'm going to suggest that you go to the YouTube channel Breaking Down Patriarchy and take a look at this video. Is chivalry respectful or sexist? So I watched that video a couple days ago and I thought, okay, I'm going to bounce off of that because she articulates really clearly what the problem with thinking of knights is. And I wanted to illustrate with a traditional, knight card. I don't have one to show you. Even cards I have that say knight on it, they don't, it's not like the guy with the, the crests and the lady's handkerchief riding off into an adventure. So use your imagination. What is a nice? Think about the fairy tales you've been told, the knight in shining armor who swoops in to rescue the lady who needs rescuing. Or the more spicy romantic version, the knight who has a relationship with a lady, probably a married lady, and it encourages these illicit affairs. Well, I don't know. I mean, really, that's what you want to promote as a current way of looking at things and way of looking at behaviors? So, yeah, watch that other video. She does a deep dive that covers a lot more than I think is appropriate to cover in this particular video that I'm making. So, adventurer is just hard for me to say. That is the word that I landed on, but I'm going to also take you through a few other decks that have got other ways of looking at it. So this is from the Witch's Wisdom. I didn't pull out all four suits. It's the Witch's Wisdom, Phyllis Corot and Danielle Barlow. Gosh, I love her art. And in this deck, they use the archetype, I suppose you could say, of a witch. The witch is the knight, traditionally the knight. And I'm missing fire. Did not have fire out here. But you still see the energy in case of the earth, a little more solid, but definitely, the ability to move out. And I think it captures the energy that we're looking for without putting it into this male, somebody, this brave guy who goes out and does brave things. No, yes, these are brave people, and they are on, maybe you could think of it as a quest. They are going to take action, and they are moving out. So, but these are witches, right? Why not? Why does it have to be a knight? All right, here is another deck that I think, wait, oh yeah, I see what I did here with this. All right, so I left this, like, these are the, oops, let's put it this way. So you can see this is the Magical Nature Tarot from the Sync Collective, and here's how they've done it. An apprentice, a seeker, a mentor, an ancestor. And there's no need with this kind of language to make it about gender. It's just about the energy, the action, the approach, the intent, and how they are in the world. So in this case, we've got the seeker, which I think is another nice way of talking about this kind of energy. The next example I have is from the Sacred She Tarot. And in this one, she's got different keywords for the different suits. So can I make all these fit? Just barely. And in this one, you can see some of the kind of traditional energy or imagery you would expect to see. You see a horse here, but it's not a guy in armor, right? This is a female figure. And what is she shooting? An arrow? No, she's shooting a rose, right? Look, here's the explorer, explore, intention, determination, and voyager. Again, you see the action, you see the energy that's being put out as these people go into the world. But we're not using the knight imagery or language. And there's no specific gender stuff either. All right, here is one of my favorite decks. And this one is the Spirit Keeper's Tarot, which God knows I've talked about this enough. And then this, she calls this category the Shining Ones. And as you can see, we do have some kind of traditional knight sort of looking character, but we're not going to call this person a knight. It's something more than that. And we also have, you could read other genders into these. You could even read this as a female character who's dressed up, but Benabel Wynn has, these are specific characters, but you can read a lot into these in addition to or instead of her intention. And most artists will be pretty clear that what you see is legitimate. I'm having a sip of water, a lot of talking. Right, so here's another example of this kind of energy definitely going out in the world. And she's used horses, or say an equine figure, in all of them, which I think helps to symbolize or suggest, communicate this movement. I always think of the knight cards as moving, and which is why I chose the word adventurer. With the exception of the earth one, who does go a little slower, but that's communicated here. Look, these horses are in different energetic places. So that is another example. And now let's go to mine. Mine, I say, like I own it. I don't own any of this stuff. So here's what I've chosen to do, and I think it works. So Messenger, I like Messenger because, whoops, I said the wrong thing. Oh, I wish I could edit that out. Well, I do like Messenger, but that's another video. All right, I like Adventurer because it does suggest this energy of action, going out, doing something. And this particular deck, I think, ties it in with, excuse me, the elements pretty well. So this Adventurer of Pentacles, we've got this earth energy, the elephant very grounded. There is some water there, not moving fast. There's a kind of contemplation here with the reflection and everything. I feel that about this particular card. In contrast, we look at the Adventurer of Swords. Look at this bird. It is swooping down. It's moving out. There's, I would think, prey. But this has got a lot of intention, a lot of energy as it's moving out. So this is kind of sloppy. This is just in pencil, and I have to go over practice writing neat and get these down. Here's the Adventure of Cups. I believe this is a stingray. You can correct me in the comments if I'm reading this wrong. But here it is, sort of gently. I imagine it's like the way these things move in the water. It's just so smooth. It's just Beautiful. So here's your Adventurer of Cups, not really making a big wave here. And here's the Adventurer of Wands. And the first thing I always think of with wands is that fiery, creative, go do something exciting and creative. And this also has that chasing prey energy that this one does. So if this one is chasing an idea, it's got words. This one is chasing um, more of what do I want to say? A creation. It's going to make something of whatever it catches. Yeah. So that's it. I love the colors in these. It's such a pretty deck, and I'm really having a lot of fun rethinking the face cards without the royalty. So hashtag no kings, hashtag no knights. I'm so curious if there's anybody else out there who's sort of wrestling with these thoughts about the patriarchy and how it's so embedded into the court cards, and if what you might or might not be doing about it. How are you making peace with it if it bothers you? I'm really curious, and I would love to be engaged in dialogue. If you would honor me with a comment, I will definitely get back to you. Take care.